Hey, you trying to figure out why I smell a little funny down there? Or YouTube is being messy, or your subscriber. Thank you. Either way it goes, you want to talk about it? Hi, I'm Chantel, and I am known on TikTok as a self-certified and personally double verified mustyologist. Everything musty, I love to talk about it. Subscribe. Also, check the timestamps, okay? I am extremely chatty. I got a mouth on me. You may need to skip past these disclaimers here and just get to the exact pieces that you need. I will not take offense to that. Girl, I already know how my mouth be going. But anyway, I am not a certified or licensed practitioner. Okay, this is not medical advice. This is just information that I've learned being a woman, information I've learned from my practitioners and my doctors, as well as information from trusted family members and friends. Okay, now let's go ahead and jump right into it. First things first, I like to define vaginal smells into 3 categories. Now, there probably is more, but this is just what I like to do. 1, musty. Everybody kind of knows what the scent musty is. It's kind of frowsy, a little tart. It's also a little musky as well, with a little bit of undertone of like skunk, if that makes sense. Not like a full out skunk, but just a little skunky in the background. And then 2, there's fishy odor. And fishy odor is kind of just what it sounds like. Sometimes it can smell like fried fish. Sometimes it can smell like fresh water fish. Sometimes it also can be what my friend described it as ammonia. And sometimes it can smell like a combination of just like raw meat, fish, ammonia. It's just something that you'll know. It's a distinctive scent that's not musty, or it's not the third one that we are going to get into. The third one is like cheesy / old breadish. That one is generally comorbid with yeast, but that's a whole nother story. Or if you actually smelled yeast, it kind of smells very similar to that. So those are the 3 categories that I like to define scents in. So you'll hear me throughout this video say it smells a little musty or it smells a little fishy. That's what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and get into fishy, because that is the one that a lot of people don't like. Okay, a lot of times when you have a fishy odor, sometimes it goes right along with itching and burning. I'm going to get into that in a minute, but there are several things that actually can cause a fishy odor. One thing that can cause a fishy odor is getting nutted in. Okay, and by the way, I hope y'all don't take me being candid as me being judgmental. You are always safe over here. Okay, I have a degree in, my first degree actually is in community health education, and none of the views that I present on this channel is associated with that degree or any job I've ever had. But I'm pretty candid, and I'm pretty comfortable talking about this type of stuff. Well, anyway, what a lot of people don't know is that sometimes it has nothing to do with your body rejecting the male, or sometimes the male cheating, or him having an STI. Sperm can mess up your pH. And when it messes up your pH, it can make you stink. I actually have a couple of videos on TikTok where I'll talk about that, and I might make a full video about this here. But yes, and a couple other videos can sometimes knock off your pH, especially the days following, because it has to get itself out. The way that you can circumvent this, and I have a video called post decure. I think I can just it up here, but there's certain things that you do. Most important thing that you want to do is not douche. Okay, especially if you are not 100% sure you is in a monogamous relationship. But what you can do is insert things such as a drip stick, which helps absorb it. There are probiotics, boric acid, things that you can do to help get your pH back on balance. First things first, you need a good cleansing shower, and then right after you have sex, you need to pee. That's also going to help you decrease the risk of UTIs too. Second thing that can actually make you smell musty and or fishy is bacterial vaginosis. And that can be caused by a lot of different types of bacteria that has entered the vagina or the vagina's flora. And a lot of times that can be due to improper wiping, hands being touched down there, different types of materials that's down there, foreplay, mouth, spit, lots of different things that can cause that. Again, one of the common ways that you can help prevent that after those things have happened is taking a good shower. We're going to talk about intentionally bathing in a little bit, but making sure after you do those things that could possibly introduce bacteria into your vagina, taking a great shower to make sure you get all that stuff out, specifically with something that is very cleansing. I'm scared to say it because I know it. I use Dow as my first bathe, and then I go in with something moisturizing. You find what works for you, but it needs to be something that is extremely cleansing. And then there's a method to the madness as to how you're going to use it. We'll get into that. Another thing that can cause a fishy odor is STIs, or sexually transmitted infections. Now, I know a lot of times when I say that, people are like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Okay, the number, or statistically, the amount of people who have had treatable STIs is staggering. Okay, if you have had unprotected sex, or maybe there's been a situation where you have been assaulted and afterwards you smell something and you're not necessarily sure exactly what it is a great practice to go to the doctor, sans a sexual assault or anything like that. You have an STI, maybe spend 5-10 days, whatever your prescription is. Feeling bad about having that unprotected sex, probably feeling just down and out about it, and then finish your treatment and move on. Don't do that shit again. But yeah, it happens. It's actually very common for a lot of individuals. I'm not even going to say women. And the treatment generally is antibiotics. Take your antibiotics and move on. Okay? That is the best way to treat sexually transmitted infections. There's not amount of creams, potions, douches, anything that you can do that can treat that. For a little bit you can do it, and then you're like, okay, it treats the symptoms, but a lot of times them symptoms keeps coming back, and that's how you know it's not BV. That's how you know it isn't a little bit of things that you can fix with your hygiene. That's how you know it's possibly a sexually transmitted infection. Now let's talk about musty. Okay, I already told y'all what musty kind of smells like, but there's an uncommon reason that could be fungal. I will make a whole video about fungal, or I might even put it on my stories. I might put it on my stories and then link the new video. Either way, I will make a video about fungal infections and how to get yourself back on track. None of this will involve putting anything up in the vagina. It's more so around the corners of the vagina, underarms, etc. When it comes to being musty, there's a couple of things that a lot of people say, well, that's a no-brainer. But it's really not a no-brainer. One of the things is intentionally bathing. A lot of people, that's why I don't like loofahs. I'm just gonna hold you. I do not like a loofah. A lot of people go in there and they hurry up and rush and bathe, and they're not taking their time to really get in between the corners. I'm talking the corners where the thighs and the coochie meets. I'm sorry. Or thighs in the vagina meets, or like getting inside of the lips, taking your hands and really getting in there. I wouldn't suggest a rag because it's a little abrasive in my opinion, but just going in between there, getting really into there with the soaps, just going all around it, rinsing, continuing to do it, maybe it depends on you. My body could probably handle about 3 times before I'm starting to get irritated, but everybody is different. But just taking your time and intentionally bathing in there. Once you get out the shower, making sure everything is dry. Musty is generally caused by sweat and odor that comes from sweat. And one of the things odor loves is moisture. One of the ways that we help it is by getting in the shower, hurrying up and throwing on our clothes. You gonna have to go ahead and make sure that thing is dry. You see that right there? That right there? That is my fan. It's a fan and purifying one, girl. You know, I'm a little bougie. But anyway, when I'm getting dressed, this is probably TMI, I hike that leg up and I let that fan blow down there. And that is to help make sure everything is dry before I put on my clothes and just get dressed for the day. Starting with the clean base. Again, making sure your first bathe is something very cleansing. Again, I do whatever you want to do. And then going in with something else and just being intentional and slowing down will also help. Another thing that will help against this musty smell down there is a body powder. Making sure that you hit the corners with those body powder. Don't put it up there. Don't even put it around the vaginal hole because it can irritate you as well. Or give you what we're going to talk about, yeasty. But putting some around the corners in between your butt, making sure that area stays dry. And a lot of times body powder, talc free, most of them are talc free now, but talc free will help you stay dry, which helps decrease the sweat and bacteria that could come from being sweaty, if that makes sweat back there. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. And that also has sometimes a light scent that can also keep things pretty fresh and scented really nicely as well. I don't necessarily suggest those vaginal sprays. I have used them, spraying them in your panty a little bit. It is pretty nice, but do your research on that. That's something that you want to check out on your own. Another thing is all body deodorants. Now we have deodorants that have been formulated for all body uses. I ain't even gonna hold you. I've been using deodorant down there since before they even started all that all body stuff. I take that stick and just swipe it in between the corners, swipe it in between that butt crack. Do whatever you got to do. A lot of times these all body deodorants, they come in a squeeze tube and they're very easy to apply. That also helps as well. I would not use anything with aluminum in it. I don't even use nothing with aluminum under my arms, but it is a great option for people who tend to get sweaty and or musty down there. Another thing that I like to put down there is witch hazel. I like to put on witch hazel after I have 100% witch hazel. Dickinson's have one, and also the name is escaping me, have one, but they're 100%, it has a little rose scent to it. Because you know how witch hazel kind of got that funky scent when you first rub. I ain't going to say it's like a strong funky scent, but it is a little scent when you first rub it on the skin. The other brand, darn it, I cannot think of the other brand's name, and they have a rose scented one, and that one actually gives a little bit of a scent to it. It doesn't last long. Neither one of the scents lasts long, but witch hazel is bomb. Putting it between your toes, but specifically don't put it up there. God, y'all, specifically putting it in between the corners, putting it in, swiping it in between the butt cheeks, taking it on the cotton round, put it on between the corners, taking another cotton round, soak it, swipe it on one side of the butt cheek, that other side that has not been used, swipe it on that side of the butt cheeks. Get up under the butt cup, anywhere in between the thighs, the upper thighs, anywhere that tends to get musty. Witch hazel is amazing for this, okay? So witch hazel, powder, talc-free, deodorants, body deodorants, all of those things will be great for that. Also, some people use probiotics inserts. They use boric acid inserts. Me personally, and the people that I've spoken with, inserting things doesn't help necessarily with musty because that is a sweat issue. But some people swear by it. Some people also swear by using chlorophyll, which is a liquid, and it's found in plants. But basically, they either take it by the dropper or put it in a water. I have not found much of help with that, but some people say that helps overall with body odors, which also helps with odors below. The last thing we have is the cheesy / yeasty scent. This one is a hard category for me because generally when you find that something makes you cheesy and or yeasty, it is a yeast infection. Now, why is this a hard category for me? Because anything can give you a yeast infection depending on how sensitive you is down here. You look at a product the wrong way, yeast infection. If you overly strip yourself, this is me, yeast infection. Okay, now, what are some common things that cause yeast infection? Too much fragrance in soaps, washes. There are certain types of washes like my Bath and Body Works washes. You are not going down there. Now, I may bathe my arms with it, under my arms, but I will make sure through heaven and earth that none of that stuff get down there because it's way too scented. Another thing is putting creams, potions, things that are not medicated, that you're not prescribed from a doctor on under that. Those vaginal sprays that like I was just talking about, if you're going to use it, spray it in your panties. Don't spray it on that. Don't put powder right on the vaginal opening. Put it around the sides, if that makes sense. Don't put the deodorant, the body deodorant, right on the vaginal opening. Put it around the sides area. Putting anything around the vaginal opening where it can travel its way up, quickest way to make you yeasty. So that is a very hard category to talk about because anything under the sun can make you yeasty. Types of condoms, lubricants, types of underwear, like literally different types of fabrics on underwear can make you yeasty. In order to prevent that, you just have to do the process of elimination. If you have found that you have found yourself yeasty, think about what you've been doing. Did you do anything different? If you have done something different, remove it and then give it a couple more days or a day or so or whatever the case may be. See if you can get some assistance with that. One thing about yeasty that triggers a lot of it can itch and it can burn. So I would not just take a yeast infection medication, which is generally topical where you put it up there. I would not just take it and continue to do the same thing. There was a reason that you got yeasty, but you have to do the process of elimination. I always say start with fragrance. That is the number one irritant that I've talked to people about, especially my friends. And then making sure that they're not putting any type of sprays or potions up there trying to make it smell good. Talking about some douching with a flower or fruit smelling douche. Talking about they doing it before a D appointment. Real men know how it's supposed to smell. They ain't expecting it to smell like flowers and roses. Well, anyway, so that one was a really hard one, but just making sure that you are cognizant of what you are using. Did I help you, girl? I hope I did help you. For the rest of you, if you stayed this long, you stayed for a reason. Go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, we got plenty of more videos in regards to hygiene. Stick around. Subscribe if you have not. And I love y'all. Fresh Coochie Gang.